to the No Spin News, Thursday, February 8th, 2024. Stand up for your country. We don't usually do personalities on the No Spin News. It's always related to some kind of policy that affects you and your family. It's where I try to keep it in that zone. I'm not interested in harpooning people like a lot of the internet personalities are, because they get headlines doing that. I don't really like to do that so much. If a person deserves it, then I will go and at least tweak them. And we're going to do that tonight with Abby Phillip of CNN. And you probably never even heard of this woman. But boy, the audacity of her. And I will get to that. But the reason I'm giving you this intro is because I'm going to do the Talking Points memo right now on Tucker Carlson and Putin. Here we go. So today on TuckerCarlson.com, there's going to be an interview. Mr. Carlson spoke with Vlad the Terrible, Putin, in Moscow earlier this week, and that's going to be posted. Do I have a problem with that? No. If I got an invitation to go to Moscow to interview Vlad the Terrible, I would go. I would check my flight patterns. I might take a train from St. Petersburg or wherever, but I would interview Putin. I'd interview Hitler. I'd interview Mao, Stalin. Okay? I am a journalist. If Putin's going to sit there and consider my questions, I'll fling them. Now, Tucker Carlson is a Putin fan. I don't know why. I don't particularly care why. It's his opinion that Putin's not that bad. I think Putin's a war criminal, a mass murderer who has absolutely no morals or scruples whatsoever, is a heinous dictator. So my opinion of Putin is exactly the opposite of Mr. Carlson's, but that's fine. That's what we do in America. To refresh on Putin, here's what Carlson said 2 years ago.
Has Putin ever called me a racist? Has he threatened to get me fired for disagreeing with him? Has he shipped every middle-class job in my town to Russia? Did he manufacture a worldwide pandemic that wrecked my business and kept me indoors for 2 years? Is he teaching my children to embrace racial discrimination? Is he making fentanyl? Is he trying to snuff out Christianity? Does he eat dogs? These are fair questions, and the answer to all of them is no.
Okay, so a couple of things about interviewing Putin and the others I mentioned. You are never going to get a straight answer out of them, never. You know that going in. Okay, now I'll tell you how I would interview Putin after we get through with the ideology that we're going to deal with in a moment. But everybody knows that. I'm sure Carlson knows that he's going to ask a question, Putin's going to lie, evade, spin, or whatever. I mean, he's not going to give you an honest answer. But that doesn't mean you don't interview him. Okay? All right. So the left, who hate Tucker Carlson, irrationally, in my opinion, and they hated me, but there was probably a little bit more reason to hate me than Carlson. I'm a little bit more journalistically centered. And Carlson's a personality. I said to a radio guy today, he's the best marketer in the world, Tucker Carlson. He makes me look comatose. That's how good he is in marketing. Okay, so for some reason, the left objects to this interview. Go.
But I think what's really important to know is Tucker Carlson suggests that the American people, the rest of the West, don't understand Putin, don't understand the Russian military action, the war, the invasion. Well, again, that's clearly untrue.
Tucker Carlson is getting exactly what he wants. Attention. He's in Russia interviewing Vladimir Putin.
Ever since Tucker Carlson landed in Moscow, the state-run media has really said it all. They've treated him like a true celebrity, down to the details about when and how he charged his cell phone. They ran video of Carlson eating at a fast food joint. And the fawning goes both ways.
So what? I mean, it's not like Carlson makes policy. All right? I mean, what are these people so upset about? They should be upset about the open border. They're not. Okay, they're upset about Tucker Carlson. It's ridiculous. Okay, so how would I interview Putin? I would present to him certain facts, which he would deny. But that doesn't matter. I would get the facts out to him. And you would see he's basically an expressionless person. But I would go, boom, 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 boom. What do you think about that? I wouldn't say, did you do it? Did you not do it? Because I know he's going to die. What do you think? What about this? That's how you do it. The best interview of a heinous villain in the history of television was done by Mike Wallace with the Ayatollah Khomeini. You can see that on the internet. You should watch it. Wallace knew that the Ayatollah, a terrible villain, awful, wasn't going to answer his questions. So what Wallace did was he sat there and he threw insults at Ayatollah Khomeini said by others, particularly the president of Egypt, Anwar Sadat. Remember the famous line goes, "Forgive me, Imam, these are not my words." And then he quoted Sadat saying, "Hey, you're a complete violent lunatic." And you could see the evil in Ayatollah Khomeini's face. Soon after, Sadat was assassinated. Just so you know. All right. So you can interview these people, but you have to do it in a certain way. I don't particularly care about what Putin does or says. I know Putin. I know what he does. I don't need to hear propaganda from anybody. But I don't think it should be shut down. And I don't think Carl should be personally attacked for doing it. But the left, they're so intolerant, it's unbelievable. So the best is CNN. Oh, boy. I mean, talk about hypocrisy. There's a woman over there named Abby Phillip. She's one of their hosts, committed leftist. Okay, here's what she says about Carlson. Go.
Tucker Carlson is not a journalist, not even close. And his former employer in a court case actually agreed, quote, "The general tenor of the show should then inform a viewer that Carlson is not stating actual facts about the topics he discusses and is instead engaging in exaggeration and non-literal commentary."
So this is rich coming from that woman. Last September, on her program on CNN, she put on a montage of what she feels are extremist people. Roll the tape.
Maybe tomorrow he says he's going to transition to a woman. Better yet, maybe a black woman. Maybe even better, a half black, half Pacific Islander. Something like that.
Slaves that worked there were well fed and had decent lodgings provided by the government.
How did we wind up with a country in which feminists do science?
Okay, so my part, I'm going to quote it again. Slaves that worked there were well fed and had decent lodgings provided by the government. So according to Abby Phillip, that makes me a slave justifier. That's why she put it in. Here's what I really said. Go.
In 1800, President John Adams took up residence in what was then called the Executive Mansion. It was only later on they named it the White House. But Adams was in there with Abigail, and they were still hammering nails. The construction was still going on. Slaves that worked there were well fed and had decent lodgings provided by the government, which stopped hiring slave labor in 1802. However, the feds did not forbid subcontractors from using slave labor. So Michelle Obama is essentially correct in citing slaves as builders of the White House.
Absolutely 100% accurate. I was giving a history lesson because Michelle Obama had said slaves built the White House, and a lot of people were criticizing her for it. But what she said was accurate. So you saw now what I said. You saw what Abby Phillip took out of that. to make me look like a racist. How despicable is this? This is worldwide TV now. This is beyond despicable, beyond anything that I've seen in quite some time. And so my lawyers wrote a letter to CNN and Abby Phillips saying, hey, you need to apologize and explain why you did what you did and tell the audience a bunch of bull. They wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. Yet Abby Phillips has the gall to say that Tucker Carlson is not a journalist, not even close. You shouldn't be on television, madam. You're a fraud. You're a complete fraud. And that's CNN. Just so you know. All right? So, with the Carlson interview, you can take it or leave it. I'm probably not going to watch it, but I'll get a transcript of it. I'll know what's said and how it's said. And then if a portion of it interests me, then I will. Okay, but it's not Carlson that I want to watch. He's entertaining. But Putin, as I said, you don't want to sit there and watch this mass murderer lie? Not particularly. But I don't object that it's on. And that's the memo. All right, Joe Biden's schedule. I don't know what he's doing in Virginia. He went down there with a schmooze fest with the House Democratic Caucus to do something in Leesburg. I have no idea what it is. It's not doing the people's business, obviously. He doesn't do that anymore. He just raises money and schmoozes with Democrats. Cognitive decline. So I said on the radio today on WABC, it would sit in the morning. I do that every Thursday, and it's posted on BillO'Reilly.com. I said, in my world, no one would tell me that the President of the United States is not in cognitive decline because they know I wouldn't engage any further with them. I'd just say, have a nice day, out of there. Because he is. And now we have two more examples, which are pretty harrowing, I have to say. So yesterday, Wednesday, Biden comes to New York City, as we reported, in the middle of the day. Didn't have to do that. He could have come at night when the commuters were all back in their homes. No. Comes in the day, creates horror for everybody. He doesn't care. All right, in this now, he makes a statement to the people at the fundraiser, and I'm going to quote it for you. First got elected, when I was first elected president, he says, first got elected president, I went to a G7 meeting with 7 heads of state in Europe, and I sat down and said, America's back. And the president of France looked at me and said, for how long? And I never thought of it that way. And then Helmut Kohl of Germany looked at me and said, what would you say, Mr. President, if you picked up the London Times tomorrow morning and learned there's 1,000 broken down doors of the British Parliament on the way in to deny the next prime minister to take office? And what would you think? Okay. So Helmut Kohl has been dead for 4 years. And Biden is saying he had a conversation with him. All right, he got Kohl mixed up with Angela Merkel. But maybe Joe communes with the dead. That's possible. And you will remember then, in Nevada, he did the same thing. I sat down and I said, America is back. And Mitterrand from Germany, from France, looked at me. And Mitterrand has been dead for years. Okay? 1996, I think Mitterrand checked out. He doesn't know what he's saying. He doesn't know. Biden doesn't know. Now, in any other situation, I would be sympathetic to the senior citizen who's totally lost it, who's in cognitive decline. I wouldn't be making fun of them. I wouldn't be disparaging them. But this is the President of the United States. And you wonder why he's not doing a pre-Super Bowl interview? He doesn't know who's alive and who isn't alive. Now, if it's one slip of the tongue, okay. But what do we got, 100 of them? How many more do you need? So then the question becomes, if you, the American citizen, or anybody you know, pulls a lever for a person in cognitive decline, what kind of a citizen are you? This is insane. Now, if you don't want to vote for Trump, don't vote for him. Just go down ticket. Vote for your congresspeople and senators or governor, who's ever up. But you cannot vote for Joe Biden. Does everybody understand my point here? Our freedoms should never be taken for granted. They must be cherished, protected, and defended. When corporations pander to the liberal agenda, they must be punished. When corporations stand up for conservative values, they should be supported. This brings me to Freedom 2.0, the bottled water company that proudly represents us. They have hilarious sayings on each bottle like, "This water ain't woke," and "bottled with liberal tears." Use the code BILL for a 15% discount and subscribe to Freedom 2.0. We must never discount freedom, but we can discount water as long as you use the code BILL. Please visit freedom20.com to order now. That's freedom, the number 2, the letter O.com. Freedom20.com, use code BILL for 15% off. No mail today. I'm going to go right to the website, confronting the president's huge pre-order. We do not bill you until we ship it to you. Get online, get it first, out September 10th. You'll get it in late August. Probably my best book. There it is. Now, all the killing books are bundled, all 13 of them. And if you are premium or concierge member, you get a big discount. Take advantage of that discount. You can give them away or have a nice library. Okay? And finally, Killing Crazy Horse, we got a big order on that. So it's just $12.95, one of our best books. That you will learn an enormous amount about how the West was won or lost, depending on your point of view. $12.95. Word of the day, do not be a quake buttock. Quakebuttock. I have never heard a human being use that word, but it's a legitimate word, quake buttock. Back with the Super Bowl in a moment. By now you have heard me talk about Delta Rescue. They are a fantastic organization that helps rescue animals from the wilderness. You know I'm a dog lover, so is Leo Grillo, the founder of Delta Rescue. It is his life's mission to provide everlasting care for these once abandoned animals. I myself have donated to Delta Rescue. Do you believe it is part of man's duty to care for dogs and horses, the animals that so much of our history is tied to? If so, please consider making a donation or consult your advisor about leaving a gift in your will or trust. There can be some tax advantages, and it's a great way to help Delta Rescue accomplish their mission. So please visit deltarescue.org to learn more. That's deltarescue.org. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation supports America's greatest heroes, U.S. service members, and first responders who gave their lives, those catastrophically injured in the line of duty, and homeless vets. The Foundation's Gold Star Fallen First Responder and Homeless Vet programs honor the sacrifices made by men who fought and died for us, and women who risked their lives for our country as well. The Foundation's Never Forget program engages people in 9/11 remembrances across America with more than 80 runs, walks, and dozens of golf outings every year. The Tunnel to Towers 9/11 Institute educates kids from kindergarten through 12th grade about America's darkest day, while helping our nation keep its vow to never forget. So please support Tunnel to Towers. Donate $11 a month. Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. More than 95 cents of every dollar you donate to Tunnel to Towers goes to its programs. That's T, the number 2, another T.org. Okay, here is the Super Bowl analysis. So you got the Kansas City Chiefs, brilliant organization, versus the San Francisco 49ers, 6:30 Sunday night. All right? 68 million Americans are going to bet their own money, $23 billion on the game. $23 billion will be bet on this game. That's why the NFL is so popular, because so many people bet on it and they want to watch it. Okay. I'm not betting the game. I'm pretty good at that. I won 9 out of 10 of my bets this season. But I don't like all this gambling. I don't like Jamie Foxx running around telling you to gamble. I don't think it's good for kids. I think people are making very hard to beat the spread in the NFL. Very hard. I get it 90% this year, but I only bet selectively. I would not bet this game. Okay, the teams are even. They are even. So when that happens, it's who turns the ball over. One tip. The Kansas City Chiefs have a running back named Pacheco. If he gets more than 80 yards on the ground, Kansas City should win because that keeps the ball away from San Francisco, which has good offense. Okay? I like this quarterback, Brock Purdy. He might be a kid of destiny here. So I'm guessing that San Francisco is going to win, but I'd never bet it in a million years. Now, Vegas, where the game is going to derive about $500 million from this. And that doesn't even count the slot machines and all the gambling that'll go on. All right. The NFL, the tickets are now selling for $10,000 a piece. $10,000. Apparel, food, drinks at home, all of that estimated to be $17 billion. So everybody's stocking in the pizza, the sandwiches for the American economy. This is the ultimate example of capitalism in the world. Talking about the world, 56 million foreign nationals watch the Super Bowl now. That's a big increase. So American football is replacing soccer as the premier sporting entertainment around the world. Anyway, I hope you have a good time. We are going to watch the game here in New York. I went last year. This year, I'm just too busy. It's just too crazy. I couldn't get out there. In Vegas, next year is in New Orleans. Much more interesting city than Vegas. We'll see. But I want you to have a good time. I want you to relax, forget about politics for a little while. I really appreciate you watching and listening on the radio to the No Spin News. New column on Sunday, right before the Super Bowl. And we'll see you on Monday. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.